guys, so today we're going to be discussing Chapter 6, Interaction, from the textbook Making Content Comprehensible for English Language Learners. And to start off this presentation, I'm actually going to start off with the teaching idea. So we are going to put on our teacher hat. And for this teaching idea, it's a really good idea to start the class. You always have your CLOs, and you have those in the 4-step format, which we will talk about further in the presentation. But it's important to have lots of interaction with your classroom and lots of partners or small groups. So when you come into the classroom every day, it's a really good activity to have students work in pairs and have them read the CLO to each other and have them say, what is it that Ms. Denise is asking for? And have them summarize, and then you can come back as a class and share out ideas just so everybody can be on the same page about what the CLO is asking for. All right, so we're actually gonna see that in play and how it would look like with your students. So let's check out how this teaching idea would look like. But now, what I'm about to show you is how this would look between, let's pretend they're both 5th graders, in a 5th grade lesson on, I don't know, let's say the Bill of Rights. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret on why turn-in talks are probably one of the best ways for interaction. Stay tuned. Turn-in talk is an oral language support strategy that provides students scaffolded interactions to formulate ideas and share their thinking with another student. When turn-in talk is used, all students have a chance to share their thinking in a low-risk setting. Even better, students create meaningful conversations with each other. Okay, class, so today we're going to be learning about the Bill of Rights, and here's our CLO for the day. So I want you guys to turn and talk to your partner, and each of you repeat the CLO to each other. So go ahead and do that.
Okay, students will be able to discuss the Bill of Rights and how they apply to present day, using their Bill of Rights T-chart.
Students will be able to discuss the Bill of Rights and how they apply to present day using their Bills of Rights T-chart.
All right, so what is it that you think Ms. Denise wants us to know by the end of the lesson? Go ahead and talk to your partner about what does the CLO mean? What is the goal by the end of the lesson?
I think Ms. Denise wants us to learn what the Bill of Rights are.
I think she wants us to compare to today.
Okay, so as you guys see, you guys hit it right on target. So today we're going to be learning about what the Bill of Rights are, and we're going to make connections to present day, because I think that helps really a lot with actually really understanding things when you can compare it to things today. Because were things the same back in the day to today? No, things change over time. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our lesson. So you can really see the importance of students actually having to recite the CLOs to each other. It really hits that linguistic aspect, and it helps them with their fluency and learning how to talk and really pronunciating those words, and it gives them that linguistic practice. So it's always important to, it's a great activity to start up, and anyways, you need to discuss your CLOs. So I'm going to show you guys now a video about a teacher, and I want you guys to actually take a second. I gave you all KWL charts, and I'm going to show a picture of it right now. So this is your KWL chart, and I want you guys to fill out just the K section. What do you know about interaction so far? So what do you know about interaction? So take about, I'd say, pause the video and take about 3 minutes to jot down all of your ideas of what you know about interaction. All right, so now that you guys are done, I'm gonna show you guys the video. And I want you guys to, this video is gonna be split in 2 parts. So we're gonna watch the first part of the video, super short video, and we're gonna debrief and then watch the second part.
یکی بود یکی نبود غیر از خدا هیچ کس نبود توی شهر دور یک پنگوئن بود و یک اردک پنگوئن فقط دوست داشت کلا بخوره غذاشم فقط شکلات بود و آب نبات و چیپس همیشه سرش درد میکرد همیشه دلش درد میکرد توی مدرسم هیچ شاگرد خوبی نبود و درس نمیتونست بخونه در عوض اردک فقط آب پرتقال میخورد سیب دوست داشت بخوره گلابی میخورد گندم میخورد و نون رو دوست داشت بخوره.
Okay, so we saw the first part of the video, and did you guys understand anything she said? Because I know I didn't. So let's put teacher hat on right now, and it's important to do lots of turn-in talks. Turn-in talks are really huge with interaction, and turn-in talks consist of just telling your students, like, okay guys, I want you to turn and talk to a partner. And depends how you have your classroom arranged. You can do this in small groups or in partners, but it really gives students a chance to check in with each other and before they share as a class, because we all know we hated being called on just out of nowhere in class. So it's nice for students to check in with each other, and it gives them something to say sometimes, because sometimes they calling you and you're like, what? Okay, so now we're gonna watch the second half of the video.
Now I'm going to present to you the same lesson in a different manner. یکی بود یکی نبود، غیر از خدا هیچ کس نبود. توی یک شهر دور یک پنگوئن بود و یک اردک. پنگوئن فقط دوست داشت کلا بخوره. غذاش هم فقط شکلات بود و آب نبات و چیپس. پنگوئن همیشه خسته بود. سرش درد میکرد، دلش درد میکرد. توی مدرسه هم هیچ شاگرد خوبی نبود. وقتی که میشست مدادش رو دست میگرفت، ولی بعد از 2 دقیقه دهن دره میکرد. میگفت سرم درد میکنه. سرش رو میگذاشت روی کتاب و میگفت بهتره چرت بزنم. در عوض اردک همیشه آب پرتقال میخورد. سیب رو خیلی دوست داشت بخوره. گلابی میخورد. نون خوب میخورد. گندم میخورد. همیشه حالش خوب بود. ورزش میکرد، میدوید، هیچ وقت هم مریض نمیشد. توی مدرسه هم شاگرد خیلی خوبی بود. مدادش رو دست میگرفت، تند و تند درسش رو میخوند و مینوشت. همیشه توی مدرسه نمره های خیلی خوب داشت. شاگردام همیشه براش دست میزدن.
Okay, so now that we watched the second part of the video, did you guys see the difference? I don't even know what language this teacher is speaking in, but you guys kind of got the idea that it was 2 penguins, the chubby penguin and the skinny penguin, and she was talking about how sugars are bad, chocolate chips, and all of that kind of stuff, and how the other penguin is healthier, and it was just a video about making healthier choices, I would say. So as you can see, interaction, what I wanted to get out of this video is that interaction isn't only about talking, but interacting with objects as well is super important. And you can see it. You just saw it with your own eyes. Us as adults in a language that we did not know, after watching the second half of the video, we kind of got an idea of what the video was about. Okay, so the issue is that there are lots of few opportunities for students to interact in typical classrooms. And why is that? So studies indicate that teachers dominate the linguistics aspect of the lesson. So it limits opportunities for students to practice that linguistic aspect. So here's some benefits. Okay, so here are going to be we're going to put a list. So some of the benefits are deeper understanding of the text, including vocabulary learning, oral language development, brain stimulation, reduced risk. And what I mean by reduced risk is what I talked about. It's not just putting students on the spot, but it gives chance for students to kind of check in with each other, and it reduces that risk, that fear of just being called out on the blue. So reduces risk, it gives more processing time. So a really important aspect about interaction is process time. Wait time can be very awkward, especially for us teachers. Sometimes you just have to sit there and stand there for a minute and let your students do the thinking. And it also increases their attention and motivation. Always just checking with a partner. It just motivates students and gives them more confidence about what the task is or what it is that they're being asked. So now I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Michael.
Thank you, Denise. You are the tip of the spear. Now, before we begin my portion of the presentation, please pause the video and take 2 to 3 minutes and write down what you want to know about interaction regarding ELLs on your KWL. Welcome back. Now that you have written out what you want to know, please shift your focus to the SIOP feature, number 16, which is regarding the frequent opportunities for interaction and discussion between teacher and student and among students, which encourage elaborated responses about lesson concepts. In a nutshell, this SIOP feature emphasizes the importance of balancing linguistic turn-taking between the teacher and students as a whole and among students themselves. How many of you have had teachers who simply lecture with no interaction? Most of you probably had some experience of what I'm talking about, and we can all most likely say that our engagement and ability to absorb content and material could have been significantly improved if we had interaction between teacher and students with students. Now imagine how engaged an ELL student would be in a class that does not allow or simply has unrefined methods of interaction. That student would probably feel alone, frustrated, and or confused. We want to eliminate all of these negative feelings for all students. And in order to do that, we must first start by letting students have a voice through interaction and elaboration. Elaboration is key when giving a student a voice. He or she is able to construct responses that are not yes or no answers. Any student can guess when called upon, and they essentially have a 50-50 chance of getting the correct answer. We want to stay away from this concept because we want to set students up for success in their oral language development through elaboration. In fact, there is strong evidence from the National Literacy Panel on Language Minority Students and Youth that revealed the important relationship between oral proficiency in English and reading and writing proficiency. Basically, we cannot build proficiency in oral language if reading and writing proficiency is not developed, vice versa. If you are needing more information on this feature, please see page 158 in your textbook. Now I want to discuss instructional conversations, also known as ICs, and they are the collaborative conversations and discussions in the Common Core State Standards that emphasize oral language development and promote meaningful discussions around academic topics and text using interactive approaches. If you look to the left, typical instruction is teacher-centered with exact specific answers evaluated by the teacher with a skill-directed focus. But if you look to the right, you will see instructional conversations, or ICs, with the teacher facilitating with many ideas being encouraged. You will also see in the IC column that having fewer black and white responses as well as drawing from prior background knowledge are two main components of ICs as well. Essentially, what we want is to structure their lessons in ways that promote student discussion from small group work, pair share discussions, and collaborative group assignments focused on increasing conversation time. And to go back on elaboration, extensions are important as well as open-ended questions. When engaging a student, we need to build upon what they know, ask the right questions, and guide them to discovery with the English language. Next, let's discuss SIOP feature number 17, which is grouping configurations support language and content objectives of the lesson. This is one of my favorite SIOP features because it guides us in balancing grouping configurations in order to develop oral proficiency, as well as reading, writing, listening, and speaking. You can do this by varying grouping configurations by whole class to small group, or whole class to partners, or small group to individual assignments. There's many ways you can do this, and we'll get into more detail about it. Basically, like I just said, there are many ways to change things up, and organizing students in smaller groups for instructional purposes provides a context that whole class teacher-dominated command instruction doesn't offer. So let's get students to discover instead. When you let students work together, they are able to critique and analyze material, create graphic representations of vocabulary terms or concepts, and or summarize the material and content at hand, which increases a student's ability to learn. This is similar to what I have to do in physical education and grouping students together. I have to ensure I am increasing activity time by making games smaller and grouping/pairing people appropriately by ensuring not all the skilled players are staying together. This is the same concept in developing language proficiency for an ELL. Imagine if I put all athletes together in an activity or sport. What would happen? They would shut out the competition and not allow others to play and or participate in the activity, which would lead to students having a negative association with physical education, which will lead to not achieving physical literacy. PE was my least favorite class growing up because it followed a model that didn't allow development through sports, but now we seem to be more focused on keeping groups small with a focus on relationships through interaction and leadership, which the ICs also follow, or the IC follows. Allow people to learn from each other because ultimately that's how we get better as students and teachers. Basically, what I'm trying to convey is that not all grouping is created equal, but it is your decision as a teacher in executing how you construct your groupings. If you get confused or having a hard time grouping students, just think of your worst days in physical education, how you felt being picked last or went against a group full of athletes. For example, grouping by ability, which divides students for instruction based on their perceived capabilities for learning, has serious academic and social effects for students who are not in the top group. Don't put all your straight A students together. Don't put all your failing students together. Mix it up. Make groups a melting pot. That's how you achieve language development. Also, English learners who learn from exposure to good language models are often shut out of the groups with rich academic learning opportunities. So don't put your English learners with only low achieving students because you are setting them up for failure. Instead, set them up for success as you would also like to have a highly proficient mentor that can expose you to great concepts, material, resources, and or language. Basically, everyone benefits from instruction that frequently includes a variety of grouping methods. Studies have shown that using a variety of grouping methods to facilitate language development helps to maintain student interest because it is difficult for some students to stay focused when the teacher relies almost exclusively on whole class instruction or having student work individually, and moving from whole class to small groups or partners adds variety to the learning situation and increases student involvement in the learning process. Also, movement may be especially important for learners with special needs, so don't be afraid to get up and move. So now, on the back of your KWL, preferably with a partner, write about an experience you had or conducted in your lesson that incorporated SIOP 16 and 17. Was it beneficial? Explain.
So what Michael just did here was he put into play one of the teaching ideas for interaction, and dialogue journals are a great idea for interaction. And here the importance is, in the best case scenario, we would respond back to whatever you guys write, but in the classroom what this would look like is your students would write whatever the content objective is about or whatever it is that you guys are learning, and you would respond to them. And as you do that, it's important to notice the kind of linguistic errors they have and point those out to your students.
In conclusion, there are many ways that teachers can use interaction to launch students to higher levels of English proficiency through grouping and pairings. As a teacher, you should create ample opportunities for English learners to practice using academic English among themselves and with you, the teacher. Students should elaborate, and extend their comments and responses instead of always providing one or two word answers. Also, keep a positive attitude as well as the classroom culture. Interaction through small groups and pairings won't assist in developing language if classroom culture and energy does not exist. Encourage your students. Thank you. Now on to Maria.
The next one is the SIOP Future 18, Wait Time for Students. Wait time is beneficial to students and teachers because it helps everyone stay on track. Often teachers call on those who raise their hand first because they want the class to keep moving. The kids who raise their hands first to answer a question already comprehend the lesson. The kids who do not raise their hand maybe just need more time to figure out the answer. By waiting some time, often you ask the question, you involve more students and get better answers. Wait time strategy reinforces the idea that teachers must give students a brief time to think and form a response. The maximum time that teachers use is 0.9 seconds. While they need to give more time to their students to analyze and provide the answer, because according to the information from the book, it is not enough time for all the students. For the SIOP 18, we're going to play a game with key vocabulary from it. We are going to connect the different keywords with their definition. All the information is from the SIOP Future 18. It will help us to review the key elements and interact in different ways the information. We are going to play this game for around 3 to 4 minutes, and we are going to come back to explain the SIOP Future 19. I hope you like this game.
Okay, so this link will be posted in the description of the YouTube video, and it's also going to be posted in the document that I send along with all the information to the presentation. So you guys are going to get to matchthememory.com, and this is going to pop up. So what I want you guys is right here, you're going to start with cards, but you're going to click 2 just so you can understand how the game works. And then you have to hit the, looks like it does it automatically, but if it doesn't, click this refresh button here. But here, I suggest you flip your cards first. It says, let students formulate complete answers. Why do English learners need extra time to answer questions? They need to process questions in English. I got it on that one. So then I'm going to say this one. So what, and then it gives you a little message saying, good job, you completed it. So the point is, this one matches with this one, and then this one matches with this one. So it's kind of a matching memory game. So once you think, try and take about as much time as you need, but try not to take more than 5 minutes to play with the number of cards and see if you can make it all the way to 7 cards. And here, there's this little trick right here, this right here. It'll name the cards. So if you need to remember like, I flipped A1 and C3. But I'm not going to play anymore because I don't want to give you guys the answers. So remember, mess with the number of cards, start with 2, and then try and work your way up to 7. So take about 5 minutes to try this activity so we can summarize Maria's SIOP.
SIOP Future 19. Clarify key concepts in L1. L1 is a person's first language. According to resource is fine, L1 get their materials and sources in their second language. But it is important and beneficial they can get an explanation of these materials in their first language, because it will help them to connect the information in both languages. Academic skills such as reading, teach in the first language transfers to the second language. This is an example how L1 has different sources to connect both languages and improve their second language. It also helps students to learn more vocabulary and interact with it. SIOP instructions involves teaching in English. Children are them improving with their information, clarifying in their L1. By bilingual teachers, classmates, or materials that have been translated into their L1. All classrooms should be allowed else access to their L1 language through the use of bilingual dictionary, mechanical translating device.
All right, so we're actually going to go out into the public and ask our future leaders what they think about interaction in the classroom. So let's go find out. All right, guys, so we are here with Torin, and we're going to ask him about interaction in a classroom. So, Torin, I wanted to ask you, do you talk with your classmates a lot in class?
Yes.
Yes. Do you like when your teacher gives you a chance to talk with your classmates before you guys come together as a class?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you think that helps you a lot?
Not really.
Not really? Why?
Because it's only like a few seconds.
Okay. So you're saying, would you like maybe for your teacher to give you some more time to talk with your classmates?
Yes.
Well, there you guys have it. Well, all right. So, sweetie, what's your name and what grade are you in?
I'm Ryan and I'm in 3rd grade.
Okay, Ryan, and you're in 3rd grade. So, quick question. Do you like when your teacher gives you lots of opportunities to talk with your classmates?
Sometimes, but not all the times.
Why not all the time?
Because sometimes, like the boys on on the other side of my table, they kind of be a little rude when we're trying to talk. So that's why I don't really like when it gives us opportunities.
So do you think your teacher should really think about the way she puts you guys in groups, maybe?
Yes.
Yes. Is there something that you really like that you do in your classroom, like a certain classroom routine or something that you really like that you do in school?
I like art and music and the science.
Do you like art? Do you like when art and music is incorporated, like when it's in your everyday classroom, like instead of just art and music class? Do you like it when you see it in your classroom with your own teacher?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you like it?
Because it's like it's fun to do with her and everything. So
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. So could you ladies tell me your name and what grades you're in?
I'm Sylvia, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Elizabeth, and I'm in 7th grade.
Okay, guys, so we're really talking about how important interaction is in a classroom. So why do you think interaction is important in a classroom? Is there certain things that you like about your classroom that has to do with interaction?
Well, I like it because it makes learning more interesting, and you can really learn a lot just by doing it, and it makes it more interesting and fun.
Perfect. How about you?
Yeah, I think I
You agree the same?
Yeah.
Is there certain activities that you like that maybe your teacher does in class?
I like it when she has us, share out to the classroom and stuff, our thoughts, too. And she takes our thoughts into account of what we're doing.
Okay, cool. Do you guys do a lot of turn-in talks in your classroom? So turn-in talks is when your teachers say, talk to a partner before you guys come together as a class?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that helps you learn, other people's ideas because then, you can agree with them or disagree.
Perfect. And do you think sometimes it gives you ideas when you don't have any ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does too. All right, well, thank you guys for taking part, okay? All right, guys, so let's go ahead and find out more about interaction in the classroom. So what's your name and what grade are you in?
I'm Luke, and I'm in 4th grade.
Awesome.
I'm Matthew, and I'm in 5th grade. I'm Rachel, and I'm in 7th grade.
All right, guys, so why do you think interaction is important in a classroom? Do you think when your teacher lets you turn and talk to partners and come back together as a class, do you think that's helpful for you guys?
I like learning by myself, but sometimes if you don't know something, it can help you.
Okay.
I think it is kind of important because, the same thing, if you have, a question, you could ask them, and also so you can, talk to your friends sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, perfect. Now, do you want to add anything?
The same thing as my brother.
Perfect. So do you guys, is there anything that you wish your teacher might do differently that could do with interaction or working in groups, or is there something that you would like to be different in your classroom?
I think for my classroom that we did more projects as a group. If they divide us up in, we can choose our groups, and if we have a big project, we can work on it all together.
Do you think there's any benefits to that versus to just doing a project by yourself?
I think that you could get everybody's opinion on the subject. So if you think one thing about whatever you're learning and they think another, you could put it into the same thing, and then when you present it, you could say what each person thinks, and then it could be different. Yeah.
Awesome.
I like working by myself because sometimes if you're in a group, people disagree with you, and it can be really annoying. Because you have this great idea, then disagree, and then you have to start over, think of something new.
So do you think it's important if you work in groups for your groups to be chosen wisely?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything you want to add, buddy? No? All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Okay, so now I want you guys to take about 3 more minutes, pause the video, and fill out the L section from your KWL chart. So what have you learned about interaction with all this new information that we just presented to you and the edited interviews that we just did? Okay, so in conclusion, you guys saw with your own eyes from our own students in classrooms that they said they needed more time. It's always important with interaction to just give students more wait time and more sharing time for that interaction. And also strategically placing your students into groups. As you can see, some weren't too happy with the groups that they were in, but it's important to strategically group your students. And remember, interaction is super important, and I hope you guys learned a lot from the video.